ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another operator guide. Now, this guy's gonna be over Caveira. Caveira, please, once again, tell me in the comments below. I'm having quite a hard time with these names if you haven't noticed. But anyways, she's a defensive operator for the BOPE CTU. She can wield the M12 Submachine Gun or the SPAS 15 shotgun as her primary weapons. As for her secondary, she has her signature Lujan, I'm just gonna say that. Once again, tell me how to pronounce that too. These names are just killing me, man. The Lujan handgun. As for secondary gadgets, she can equip a nitro cell or barbed wire. Now, like I always say, pick the weapon you had the most fun with. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is how you had the most fun. These are just an overview and a suggestion. Merely suggestions. Now, the M12 Submachine Gun has decent damage, a decent fire rate, low recoil, and a magazine of 30 rounds. The SPAS 15, compared to the other shotguns, which this is just easier because it has low damage and quite a small magazine size. But out of all the defenders, it has the lowest damage, the smallest magazine, which is 6, of all the shotguns. And also, it has very high recoil. It kicks like a bolt. Like like 2 or 3 shots, you're looking at the ceiling. It's arguably below average. I'm not going to say it's the worst, because I don't use shotguns very much, but it's just looking at the hard data, it doesn't seem very good. I'm sorry. And I really just can't recommend it unless you have fun with it. If you have fun with it, go for it. But if you want to play at a competitive level, then don't choose it. So to compare, the M12 has a larger magazine, less recoil, a higher fire rate, and more damage per shot than the SPAS 15. So if you want to play competitively, roll with the M12. Now it's time for my personal choice. Based on my opinion and my playstyle, it's just an opinion piece. I roll with the M12. It has good damage, fire rate, and magazine size. It has low recoil. I can line up that one lethal headshot pretty easily. Now, for a sidearm, the Luzon, pretty sure I'm still saying that wrong, but let me know, please. This thing packs a punch. It can easily down enemies in 3 to 4 body shots, setting them up for her special ability. Wink, wink. We'll talk about that later. Or take them out with just one more bullet. The second gun is one of the better sidearms in the game, and definitely worth at least one match just to try out. It's really fun, and I just recommend that you at least play one match with Caveira just to test out her pistol. It also has really low recoil, which makes it even better. Trust me, you have no problem controlling this pistol or lining up your shots. It's not like the Deagle that Blackbeard and Valkyrie have. Like, it's really tight recoil, and it's really easy to line up your shots. So that's 2 things that you want in your pistol. No, like, minimal recoil and easy target acquisition. Now, for secondary gadgets, just go with the nitro cell. Odds are, one of your teammates has barbed wire, and barbed wire can be useful in some situations, but not always. And you'll kind of need the nitro cell to deal with those pesky shield operators that we all love to hate. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, Caveira's special ability. Her special ability is called Silent Step. This allows her to do 2 things. The first being, when the ability is activated, her steps will be near silent in the name. It just quiets her movement, making it very hard to detect her. The second being her interrogation, but we'll get more on that later. Now, one of the most important things when trying to understand her ability is you need to know it recharges. I believe it's the first ability in the game that actually recharges. You'll use it, you'll deplenish it, then it will start recharging, and it will fill up again, and then you can activate it again. Another thing to understand is that you are not completely silent. You're just near silent. Enemies can still hear you. They'll have to try a lot harder to hear you. But don't think you're just a ghost and a phantom and no one's going to hear you and you can sneak up on people. Your footsteps can still be heard. Just they're very faint. Now, next, the interrogation. First, you or your teammates will need to down an enemy. When I say down, I mean when they're on the ground, bleeding out, not when they are dead. They don't need to be alive, just bleeding out. You just walk over to that enemy and hold down the interaction button. For Xbox, it's X. For other systems, I don't know. For roughly 3 to 4 seconds. During this time, a special animation will play out. Now, you are completely vulnerable in this state. You cannot shoot. You're just holding a knife up to your enemy's neck, basically. And so you need to try to find an enemy that's either crawled away or is just out of the way or separated from their pack. Because if it's in the center, like, you will not live. If there's any one of their allies near them, you're just not going to live. I'm sorry, but it's just not going to happen. Now, after the animation is finished and all the defenders on your team, your entire team, we're able to see the living attacker's names and icons over their head for a full 10 seconds. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, 10 seconds, like, oh, 10 seconds. But this is a massive advantage to your team when you can get the interrogation, which is very, very difficult to do. While on that subject, I found it really hard. It was so hard. Finding a downed enemy out of the way without them calling out to their teammates that they're being interrogated, and everyone just rushing over and killing you before the animation finishes, it's just difficult. I mean, some of you guys might be better like at stealth and stuff like that, but for me, I just wasn't too good at it. Now, once you do have the interrogation, once you do pull it off, you'll be able to see pretty much any tactic that the enemy's going for. You can see people flanking on the objective. You can see snipers outside. It's just a very good advantage. Now, there's so many team comps you could go through with this. There's so many tactics you could do with this. I'm not going to fit it all into this guide because that would be a separate video of its own, a very long separate video. But you get the point. When you have this knowledge, you can use it to just destroy the enemy team. Now, before we go to combos and counters, I just wanted to mention something I've been noticing. I've noticed that if Caveira is identified during the setup stage, the attackers typically stay closer together. You'll notice that they don't really stray too far from their pack. It's kind of like a fear thing, kind of. And there were a few games that if I went undetected, the enemy would just spread out and leaving them just easy targets for him to pick off and interrogate. If I was discovered, however, during the setup phase, it would typically be extremely hard to find someone that was out of position or far away from the group. So what I'm saying is that the enemy will typically spread out if you're not spotted. So try to avoid the cameras and hide yourself. Think of Caveira as a secret weapon that should not be discovered until it's too late for the enemy. Now, it's Gumballs and Counters. She can really combo well with any defensive operator since she's just best played as a roamer. She really doesn't have to rely too much on her team. But I will say she works a lot better with defensive operators that can help conceal her identity. Now what I'm talking about is operators like Mutant Bandit that can destroy or jam the attacker's drones in the setup stage. Now as for counters, well, there aren't too many. If you really want to counter Caveira, you need to take away her ability to aim, or shut her down from afar so she can't get that interrogation. This means Blitz, who can blind her and make it to where she can't aim her gun, which is pretty decent, unless it's just lucky hip firing or lucky just blind firing. And Glass, who can kill her from far away. But to be completely honest, if you really want to counter Caveira, you need to outsmart her. You need to make sure that you converge on her. You need to gank her. Now that's a term just basically meaning grouping up on her like 3v1, 4v1, just more than one. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And that's really about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Please don't forget to follow me on Twitter, subscribe for more Rainbow Six Siege content, and please like the video. If you truly enjoyed it, like it. And if you didn't like the video, leave a like anyways and prove that you're that super cool person I know you are. Prove to the rest of the world. Now, I'm the Battleman, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye.